Hi, everyone. I am Rebecca Rusch. It's great to be here. Welcome to my home. I am an endurance athlete, ultra-endurance athlete, author, and probably the most decorated athlete that you have never, ever heard of. I've taken the path less traveled in my life, and I've chosen sports that nobody really knows about, except for maybe Ed Viesters in the back of the room. The sports I do are some of the longest and hardest things in the world. A short event for me would be a 100-mile mountain bike race. It takes 7 hours or so. A long event, and the place where I really excel would be something that takes 7 days, maybe 10 days, where you're sleeping an hour or two a night. You're lost, you're cold, you're hungry, and navigation and decision making are piled on top of extreme physical stress. And that's where I do my best work. I've ridden camels in Morocco. I swam the Grand Canyon on a boogie board, 300 miles. I've ridden the entire length of the Ho Chi Minh Trail on my bicycle. It's about 2,000 miles. I gravitated towards this lifestyle basically out of passion, and I could have made a lot more money with my business degree, but I'm rich in experience. But we're not that different. All of you sitting here, you know what it's like to do whatever it takes to follow your dream, to get what you want, to go after something that people think is crazy. We do have some differences, though. I bet you haven't had to pull leeches off your body at your workplace. I have. You probably haven't slept on the side of a wall hanging from ropes. You probably haven't hallucinated while at work after staying up for 24 hours riding a mountain bike. Those are some of the things that I have to deal with, and while they may seem really foreign to you, the lessons are the same, and they're things that you can take home, and you don't have to necessarily go to Borneo to get leeches. So what I want to do today, what I've learned in 20 years of being an extreme athlete, is that I've learned some lessons, and the lessons that I've learned are the same ones that I take to win a race as I do to build a business. I've had to sort of scratch and claw my way to build a little business, to keep doing what I want to do for a job, to keep following my passion, and the toolbox that I've basically acquired after 20 years in the jungle and all over the place, those are the same tools that I take to build my little business. So we're going to talk about doing whatever it takes. Oops. Vision with commitment. I really never knew what I wanted to do. Unlike my sister, she, at 6 years old, knew that she wanted to be in the medical field, and she went after it. Me, I've been a bit of a wanderer. I don't know, has anyone else here been called a dreamer? You're lost, you don't know what you're doing. Well, not all who wander are lost. It just took me a little longer to find my way, to find my vision. So I went to college, I got a business degree, I was a high school or a college cross-country runner, and I entered and exited college with no plan, no game plan. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So when I left, I took the two things that I knew, my business degree and athletics, and tried to find a job that could combine both of those. So I went to this schwanky health club in Chicago, downtown Chicago where I live, and I got a job there. Okay, I have a sports job. And I didn't really realize it wasn't really a sports job. I had to wear pantyhose, I had to carry a clipboard, and I had to sit in a cubicle and write newsletters, basically why everybody else got to work out. So I ditched that job. That wasn't going to work for me. Job number 2 was an aerobics instructor. Yes, and so I traded the pantyhose for leg warmers, and at least in this job I got to be active, but there was no passion there for me. They're really, standing inside with a bunch of people jumping around to music really didn't do it for me. It really wasn't until I found rock climbing and outdoor adventure sports that I found something that could call to me, something that spoke to my passion. And then I really had a vision. I had something that I knew that I wanted to do. So I decided, all right, if I want to be an adventure athlete, I want to travel the world, I want to see everything that's out there, I'm going to have to make some major, major sacrifices. So anything that is worth the salt, anything that is worth something takes a risk. anything that's scary, that makes your hands sweat, that makes you nervous, those are the best things. Those are the things that we need to go after, but they don't come easily. You think about, emptying the dishwasher. Okay, that doesn't make your hands sweat, and it's really not that great to do. But going and trying something you've never done before makes your hands sweat. That's where you really grow as a person. So what I found in these sports, sacrifice requires risk. So some of the sacrifices I had to make in order to follow my dream meant becoming a homeless person. This car right here that you see, that was my house. For probably 8 years, I didn't have a home address. I had nowhere to go except floors of friends, renting apartments here and there. I didn't have health insurance. I didn't have a paycheck. I ate a lot of ramen and tuna out of a can, but I was happy. I was having a really, really good time. My mom thought I was crazy. People kept asking me, what are you going to be when you grow up? Where do you live? And I didn't have any answers to those questions. But what I did have was a couple of full passports, the places I was seeing, and I was getting an education that I didn't really realize. And you know what? I didn't really think that this was unusual, that I thought this was a normal lifestyle because I was happy, I wasn't asking my mom for money, everything was fine. I was getting along, living out of my little truck. Her name is Betty. I had everything piled in there, and life was good. I didn't think it was that weird until I went to my high school reunion, and everybody there in suburbs of Chicago, they had a big house, family, a lucrative job, and I stood there telling my story of what I was doing for a living, and they couldn't believe, their jaws dropped. They couldn't believe what I had created for myself. And I was just sort of like, well, I can't believe that you live the life that you live. It didn't seem strange to me to be doing what I was doing. And they all were asking me like, well, how did you know where the money would come from? Or you didn't know where you were going to live. How did you know what to do? And the answer is I didn't. I didn't know if it would work. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where the money would come from, and I did it anyway. So years later, you could say I'm a successful athlete. I'm happy to say I now have health insurance. I have a home in Ketchum, Idaho here. I can afford to eat steak instead of ramen noodles. And so that's a big success. I've got a bunch of accolades on my resume, world championships, titles like that are really fantastic. But for as many of those that I have, as many successes, I have probably tenfold as many failures. And I'm really, really thankful for the failures, because I have found it's really easy to win. It's easy to stand on the top of the podium, put your arms up, everybody loves you, everything's gone right. What isn't so easy is to fail, and we've all failed, but if you're good at failing, and you can do it over and over and over again, and take that lesson and do a little bit better the next time, that's the precursor to success. And so I'm happy that I failed so many times, because it is what filled my resume, and it is what now I can look back and say, yes, I have a successful career as a professional athlete. So my first 24-hour mountain bike race, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'll talk a little bit, actually I'll go back to a failure. One of my biggest failures was when, for 10 years I'd been an adventure sport athlete, adventure racing, eco challenge, if you've seen any of that on TV, multi-day, multi-sport. And in the course of one fell swoop, the sport went off TV, Mark Burnett moved on to do something else, and that meant the sponsorship money died and dried up. And so in the course of a month, I basically lost my identity, lost my paycheck, and lost my vision. I didn't know what I was going to do. The sport just went away, and I was left with a choice. I either go back, two choices, go put the pantyhose back on and get a real job, or reinvent myself. So I chose choice number 2, to reinvent myself. And I went looking for something that would play on my endurance strengths. So the longest thing I could find was 24-hour mountain bike racing. So you ride for 24 hours on a mountain bike. Whoever does the most distance wins. So that was great. 24 hours is short for me. What was really bad is that mountain biking was my weakness, the worst sport ever. And I'm not joking when I say I sucked at mountain biking. So I was left here, okay, my new sport is going to be mountain biking. And I can stay up all night, no problem, but I can't ride a bike. So I went to my first 24-hour mountain bike race, and I won. I beat all the guys, I beat everybody, but it wasn't pretty. I had to get off my bike and run all the places where people are riding down, technical. I was embarrassed. I was running because I couldn't ride it. I wasn't good enough. And then in the easy spots, I'd put my head down and just hammer and try to make up for lost time. And I just didn't stop. So here's a picture of me walking my bike. You're not supposed to walk your bike. My second mountain bike race was the national championships. I won that one as well. But it was also ugly. I separated my shoulder. I crashed multiple times. I finished the race wearing a trash bag because it was raining, and that was the only thing I had to stay warm, because I didn't have the right bike gear. And I looked terrible, but I didn't care. I won the national championships as they're putting the Stars and Stripes jersey. I couldn't lift my dislocated shoulder, but I hung in there. Race number 3 was World Championships, and I was elated to finish second. Same thing, though. I'm all over the place, crashing and burning all over the place. And it wasn't until an article came out after that event with a big picture of me, and it was titled Winning Ugly. And it was saying, how can this person who is so bad at mountain biking, how is she doing anything? And yes, I was having success, but it made me realize, okay, Rebecca, it's time to stop fake it till you make it. That got me a little ways, but it was time to actually learn to get better. And so I surrounded myself with people who were better than me. I swallowed my pride, and I fell down a lot. But it worked, you know. I got back up. I won a bunch of races, and now I'm more known for mountain biking, my biggest weakness, than anything else. It's what has become, you know, my best sport was originally my worst sport. Perseverance and endurance. I think learning a new sport at age 38 and becoming a world champion in that time, at an age when most athletes are retiring, that took a lot of endurance. And what it really took was a lot of swallowing my ego, falling down, getting back up. You know, my nickname is the Queen of Pain. It was not given to me, but I really think of myself as the Queen of Perseverance. I am not the best at anything that I do. I have a lousy VO2 max. I have asthma. On paper, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But what I can do is not quit. And I learned that lesson really early. I learned it in high school. Cross-country race that we were doing, I was the best on our team. We were at regionals, qualifying for state. And I was having a bad day. I was running about third in the team. I was normally used to being at the front of the pack, and I was pissed. So I walked off the course. No reason. I quit a race for the first time in my life. And at the end of the race, my teammates, my mom, my coach, all came up concerned. What happened? What happened? Are you okay? And I had nothing to say to them except that I quit. And that scar, it was 30 years ago, I still wear that scar of the feeling and the embarrassment of quitting, you know, and letting myself down and letting my peers down. And so that's pretty much why I don't quit, why I can persevere, while I'll be there till the fat lady sings or whoever sings. And I've done races where they're closing up the finish line. Here, my first Nordic ski races in Sun Valley, before I knew how to cross-country ski, they were taking the finish line down. And I would much rather have somebody clap and say, oh yeah, look at that lady, good for her, she's finishing, than to go home to myself and say that I quit. So it's answering to myself and to my peers. And this comes back to being accountable. People ask me all the time, why do you race? Why do you sign up? Why do you torture yourself? Why do you keep doing these or putting these goals out there? And the reason is because I need to hold myself accountable. If in public I sign up, I put my goals out there for the world to see, I rise to the occasion and I become a better person. And so I keep signing up for stuff. I keep setting goals. I keep chasing after dreams, and I fail a lot, but it's important for me. And I think that that's a lesson for all of us, is to state what you want to do out loud. Sign up for something that's scary. Sign up for something that you don't know if you can do. But really, it's not this racing that matters. The journey is truly the prize. The finish line is not where you learn your lessons. The real lesson is found in the commitment to your goal, the lonely, lonely hours of preparation, the blood, the sweat, the tears that you leave on the course, and the elation that you feel when you know you're going to win even before you've arrived.
There's only a start, a finish, and the struggle in between. I'm always trying to go faster, further, harder. I like finding out what I'm made of, how hard I can push myself, who I really am. It's me alone, in my own world, complete isolation. What am I made of? How hard can I go? It's here and now, just the next pedal stroke, just the next mile. One goal, one mission, no distractions. My thoughts are simple. Push, push, breathe, pedal, go. There is no option to turn back or quit. I have learned how to deal with and embrace pain. Pain is temporary. Sweat, dust, mud, rain, scorching sun, eyes closing, muscles cramping. Absolute exhaustion. Without a stout goal, a target, or a rabbit to chase, it's too easy to slack and get lazy when the pain comes. I am my toughest competitor. I'm my only competitor. I'm not addicted to the podium or the finish line. The journey is truly the prize. Coming out the other side a bigger person is what I live for. Usually it's a finish line that only I know exists. Sometimes it's official, but most of the time it's my line in the sand and the time on my watch. When I squeeze the brakes and my wheels finally come to a stop, the pain stops too. That's my payoff. I guess that's why I ride, to push myself, to challenge myself. What's your challenge?
I promise if you're going to ride with me this afternoon, I'll take it easy on you. I promise. It'll be all levels. If you are riding with us, I will ask that you meet us at Pete Lane's, which is the bike shop that is right outside the front of the Sun Valley Lodge, and get there as early as you can so we can set your bike up and have the most ride time. And it's been really fun to talk to you guys. I'll leave you with one final thought for me. When I really lose focus and I don't know what I'm doing, I actually look to my dog for inspiration. And I do because he wakes up every day so happy, and he gets plenty of rest, and he goes outside and plays on a regular basis. And no matter how many times he fails, which is all the time, he chases those squirrels with the same intensity and reckless abandon every single time. So that's what I just try to, he's my example of what I try to be a better person. I look to my dog. So thanks for having me, and I look forward to our ride. It's going to be awesome.